You call it clingy, the shadow at your feet, the weight that finds your lap the second you sit down. And you are not wrong that it is about needing you. But there is a second thing underneath it, and it is the most trusting thing a dog can do. When you sit, they are in your lap. When you lie down, they climb onto your chest. When you stand in the kitchen, they fold themselves over your feet. And somewhere in there, you have probably wondered if something is wrong, if they are too attached. Too much. No one ever told you the difference between a dog that is needy and a dog that is regulating. Between a dog hanging on you and a dog who has quietly decided your body is the safest place in the world. So tonight, we are going to read it properly. 10 ways your dog presses into you and what each one is actually saying. And number 8, the one that looks the most like too much, is actually the deepest thing on this whole list. Stay for that one. We start with the smallest one, the lean. You are standing somewhere ordinary, the counter, the bus stop, the middle of the kitchen, and your dog walks up, turns, and just puts their weight against your leg. Not sitting, not asking for anything, just leaning. And you think they lean because they cannot quite stand on their own, because they are a little needy. Here is what is actually happening. That settled, body-to-body contact is tied to a rise in oxytocin in both of you and a drop in blood pressure. Back in 2003, a study by Odendaal Meintjes measured exactly that. The calm hormone climbing in the dog and the human at the same time, from nothing more than a quiet touch. So when your dog leans, they are not failing to hold themselves up. They are plugging into your calm. And you have felt it. That moment where they press their full weight in and you feel them let out a breath, and somehow your own shoulders come down a little too. A lean is a dog borrowing your steadiness. It is the simplest sentence in their entire language. I am better when I am touching you. Number 2, the foot anchor. You are trying to cook, or fold laundry, or just exist in one place for 30 seconds, and your dog comes over and sits directly on your feet. Not beside them, on them. Both of you are now slightly off balance. You think this is them being bossy, claiming you, some small power move. It is the opposite of that. Dogs treat the people they love the way a young child treats a parent, as a secure base. In 2008, a study by Palmer and Custance put dogs in an unfamiliar room and found they were braver, calmer, and more willing to explore when their owner was the steady anchor in the corner. Your feet are a version of that anchor, and they are also an early warning system. As long as your dog stays in contact with your feet, the second you shift your weight to leave, they feel it, before you have taken a single step. No one slips out of the room on them. So picture all the times you tried to sneak to the kitchen and felt them resettle against your ankles before you had even decided to move. They were reading the muscles in your legs like a weather report. They are not on your feet to control you. They are parked on you, so that wherever you go next, they go too. That is not bossy. That is a dog who has decided they never want to be left behind. Number 3, the flank press. This is the one where your dog does not just lean. They back their whole side into you, shoulder to hip, and press the entire length of their body along yours. On the couch, on the floor, against your shins while you stand there. Maximum contact, minimum effort. And you think they are simply in the way, being pushy, taking the whole cushion. But think about what a flank press actually does. A lean is one small point of contact. A full side is the most skin a dog can hand you at once. The widest possible patch of that calming, oxytocin-linked touch from Odendaal's work. More surface, more of the bond signal, more of that quiet chemistry moving between your two nervous systems. And here is the part people get wrong. The internet will tell you a dog presses their back into you to guard you, to watch the room while you watch their flank. There is no real evidence for the bodyguard story. What there is evidence for is contact, comfort. The simple math of a warm body that wants as much of itself touching as much of you as possible. So the next time your dog flattens their whole side against you and sighs like they have finally arrived somewhere, they have. It is not them guarding you. It is them downloading you, filling up on the one thing that settles them. The feeling of you, all along their side. Number 4, the wedge. There is an entire empty couch, a whole open floor. And your dog chooses the 6-inch gap between your hip and the armrest and crams themselves into it like they are being paid by the square inch. You think it means there is no room left, that they are just being ridiculous. Now, You have probably heard that dogs do this because of a den instinct. Some deep ancestral pull towards small, enclosed, cave-like spaces. It is a lovely story. It is also not really true. When researchers actually went and studied free-ranging dogs, Sen, Majumdar and colleagues in 2016 looking at 148 real dens. The dogs did not tuck themselves away in secluded, enclosed spots at all. They denned near people, near food, out where life was happening. So this is not some primitive cave-seeking reflex. Here is what it actually is. Your dog is building the safest little structure they can imagine. And the safest structure they can imagine is an enclosed pocket that also has a heartbeat. One wall is the couch. The other wall is you, bounded on one side and pressed into the most secure thing in their world on the other. So when they wedge into that impossible slot and go completely still, understand that they did not want space. They had a whole house of space. They wanted you with walls. A little nook built out of the one body that means safe. Number 5. And this one looks strange the first time you really notice it. Your dog walks up to you and turns around, backs into you, rump first, and sits down facing away, sometimes without so much as a glance back. You think it is rude, a snub, like they came all the way over just to ignore you. Watch what they are doing with their body, though. In dog language, turning your back on someone is the opposite of a threat. Their teeth, their only real weapon, are now pointed at the wall as far from you as they can possibly get them. Behaviorists who study canine signaling read this kind of move as a pacifying gesture. I am no danger to you, and I do not believe you are a danger to me. It is the same friendly back-turned dogs offer one another when they greet without any tension at all. So sit with that for a second. A dog keeps watching the things they are unsure of. They do not turn away from a question mark. The fact that yours backs into you without looking, eyes forward, guard down, the softest line of their body handed straight to you, is not a snub. It is one of the quietest compliments they have. The back they would never show a stranger, they reverse right into your lap. Because to them, you are the one direction from which nothing bad ever comes from. Number 6. The chin drops. You are sitting somewhere, your dog comes over, and instead of lying down nearby, they rest their chin on you, your knee, your forearm, the top of your foot, and let the full weight of their head settle in. You think they are just tired, using you as a conveniently placed pillow. But notice when it happens. The chin almost always lands the instant you stop moving. The second you finally go still, the head goes down, like a switch flipping. That is not random. That is a request. Stay. Stay connected. Help me settle. Sustained contact is one of the main ways dogs bring their own arousal back down. The same affiliative touch we keep coming back to, the kind tied to falling stress hormones. And over a whole lifetime with you, your dog has learned something very specific. That contact with you, reliably, predictably, lowers the temperature inside them. They are not guessing. They have run the experiment 1,000 times, and the result never changes. Chin on you equals calm. So that heavy head is not exhaustion. It is a decision. Out of every soft surface in the room, they chose the one that is alive, the one that breathes, the one whose heartbeat they can feel coming up through their jaw. A chin drop is a dog choosing to power down on you, trusting you to be the place where they are allowed to let go. Number 7. The stress climb. The thunder cracks. The fireworks start. The suitcase comes out, or your voice changes on the phone, and suddenly there is a dog in your lap who was across the room a half second ago. You think they are just being a baby, overreacting to nothing. 2 things are happening here, and both of them are about you. The first, when the world feels unsafe, your dog climbs toward the single safest thing they know, and that thing is you. Not the crate, not the corner, you. The second is stranger and gentler. Dogs read our emotions through scent. In 2018, D'Aniello and colleagues found that dogs exposed to the smell of human fear behaved differently than dogs who smelled human happiness. Your feelings, carried in the air, landing inside their body. This is not mind reading. It is emotional contagion. Your state quietly leaks into theirs, and it runs deeper than a single storm. A study by Sundman and colleagues in 2019 found that, over the long term, a dog's stress hormones can drift into sync with their owners. At least in the dogs and the owners they looked at. Your calm slowly becomes their calm. Your tension can become theirs too. So when the floor feels unsafe and they scramble up into you, they are doing two things at once. Reaching for the safest place they have ever found and checking against your body whether you are okay too. When the ground stops feeling safe, you become the ground. And hey, if this is landing for you, take a second and hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more dog owners who actually want to understand what their dog is really saying. Number 8, the one I told you to stay for. This is the big one, the full climb. Not a paw, not a lean. Your dog hauls their entire body up into your lap or stretches the whole length of themselves across your chest the moment you lie down and goes heavy. All of them, on all of you. And this is exactly the one people get talked out of. Somewhere along the line, an old-school trainer told half the dog owners in the world that a dog climbing on you is dominance, a power grab. Your dog is trying to be above you, literally and socially. I need you to hear this clearly because it matters. That is not what this is. There is no throne. There is no takeover. Here is the truth, and it is so much better. Remember that secure base study? Palmer and Custance, 2008, the dog who treats you the way a child treats a parent. The full climb is that turned all the way up. It is your dog doing the single boldest thing in their whole vocabulary, making your actual body their safe place. Climbing inside the one structure in the world that means nothing can reach me here. And the chemistry backs it. Full contact affiliative touch, the kind from Odendaal's work, is tied to oxytocin rising in both of you and blood pressure falling in both of you. Your chest, your throat, the side of your neck. That is where your scent lives strongest. So when they climb up and bury in, they are not just near you. They are wrapped in the most concentrated dose of you that exists anywhere on Earth. And no, they are not detecting a disease in you or smelling something wrong. Please do not let anyone turn this tender thing into a reason to be afraid. This is not a symptom. It is a sentence. You have felt the moment. They climb up, let out one long breath, and the whole body goes slack. And almost against your will, your own shoulders drop with theirs. Two nervous systems settling at the very same time. So let me say the thing those old trainers got exactly backwards. This is not your dog taking your space. This is your dog moving into the safest address they have ever found. And the address is you. Number 9. And after all of that, you have earned a lighter one. The Lap-Dog Delusion. You have a dog the size of a coffee table, 40 kilos of leg and elbow. And that dog is utterly, sincerely convinced they are a teacup pup who belongs in your lap. So they climb on, fold those impossible legs underneath themselves, drape across both your knees, and gaze up at you in total contentment, completely unbothered by the fact that you can no longer see the television or feel your own feet. You think they have no idea how big they are. And maybe they truly do not. But here is the quiet little truth underneath the comedy. Size was never the point. The same contact seeking that lives in a Chihuahua lives in a Great Dane, unscaled. Their body got big. The need to be near you stayed exactly the size it was the week they fit in 2 cupped hands. So no, they are not too big for your lap. You have it backwards. Your lap is precisely the right size for the only spot they ever actually wanted. They are not confused about their dimensions. They have simply refused to let a small inconvenience like physics keep them off the one human they love. And number 10, the one that quietly ties all of this together. There is a soft bed in the corner. There is a sunny patch by the window. There is a whole cool stretch of floor on a warm night. And your dog walks past every bit of it to press into your ankle on the hard kitchen tile, to squeeze onto the exact cushion you are already sitting on, to choose out of an entire house the few inches that are touching you. You think it is just where they ended up, where they happened to flop down. It is not. It is a choice, and they make it again and again all day long. Every single one of the 9 things we just talked about, the lean, the wedge, the climb, is really this one thing, wearing different clothes. A secure base, a safe haven, warmth, a heartbeat, and your scent all gathered into one place. And that place is you. So think about what that actually means. Your dog has the whole world available to them. Every comfortable, sensible, temperature-appropriate spot in your home. And the spot they pick, over and over again, is the one that costs them a little comfort and gives them you. The cold floor beside your chair, over the warm bed across the room, a whole house. And they choose you, not because they have to, but because out of absolutely everything in their world, you are the one they want to be touching. So, you called it clingy, and you were half right. It was always about needing you. That part was true from the start. But every lean, every wedge, every heavy climb into your lap is the same quiet sentence, spoken in a body that has no words for it. You are the safest thing I know. So tonight, when they climb on and go heavy against your chest, let them. That weight is not too much. That weight is trust, settling in. It is the closest thing they have to words for something they have felt about you since the very first day. That out of everywhere in the world they could be, here, pressed against you, is the one place that finally feels like enough. It was never clinginess. It was always more than you thought. Because a dog does not climb onto someone they are afraid of. They climb onto the one they are sure of. If you want to keep seeing your dog this clearly, subscribe and stay with us. And before you go, tell me below where your dog climbs on you the most. The lap, the chest, or right on top of your feet. I read every single one.